Hey, good afternoon. Here is our plan for today on Thursday, September 24. There's a question in Google Classroom for the bell ringer. If you want to go ahead and answer that, that would be awesome. And then we spent the rest of the time in class going over one more primary source together, and then having the rest of the time to work on our own. Tomorrow, the Electoral College assignment is due, and these documents to analyze and evaluate a primary source are due on Monday. Tomorrow is school spirit dress-up day, so purple and white. The primary source that we evaluated and looked at together was this photograph. I'm trying to find a good spot for me here. I'll just jump right in the photograph. And sometimes seemingly simple photographs have the ability to tell interesting stories if we're willing to think critically and evaluate them and analyze what's going on a little bit and ask some good questions. So we spent some time with this photograph, just talking about what we see and what makes it kind of unique. Some things that students talked about today were obviously the tanks that were there. This car that's back there, not really sure what it was. A lot of time, students wanted to talk about this giant road that this tank was on, these tanks are on. And then obviously a number of minutes were discussed on this person who is standing there in front of the tanks. We talked about the difficulty of photographs, not knowing what happened before or what happens after. And really not even really sure what's happening in that moment other than just this snapshot that we see. Which, when we talk about on the evaluate portion of that document, what's happening, we only know what's happening for this split second that a person is in front of these tanks. We don't know exactly maybe why it's happening or what happens next, but those are good questions that we can ask when we start to evaluate some sources. We can think about, why are these photographs created? Who took it? What's the message that they're trying to send? And if it's something that, people now would do, what would look different and maybe what would be the same. So there was good class discussion that we had just about what we see out of a photograph like this. I did spend some time talking with students about political cartoons and what they are. We haven't probably spent too much time with them, but I bet if you go, and you find the newspaper like the Sioux City Journal, you can find a political cartoon in there today. The thing to look for with political cartoons are words that are put onto certain objects and symbols, like this big stick this person is carrying, as well as maybe the string and the Navy ships that are being pulled. It's all trying to send a message. And it's created by an artist. This artist has an opinion, and he's basing his opinion, or she is basing her opinion, off of what's happening with the current political happening. So the events. So that's how they get their name, political cartoons. Usually they're sharing a critique about either decisions or events that take place, usually involving government or government systems. Sometimes they're about something different, but most of the time it's aimed or geared towards politics. We'll spend some time later in the year looking at political cartoons, but it is important to notice that there are certain things to look for when looking at these. I did tell the students that this is Teddy Roosevelt, if that gives you any insight into the photograph. The last one was a map. That's a link to the Library of Congress, which is a great website full of primary sources. Okay, so I think you should have the information you need to complete your evaluation and analysis of primary sources. This is due on Monday, where we'll spend some time in class talking about what we saw and compare what students came up with. Okay? All right. I hope you are doing well. If you have any questions, please get in touch. Bye.